see who makes it and doesn't. First up, we got Jared Firestone, though.
Race 6 of the BMW IBSF Men's Skeleton World Cup. We're in Koenigsegg, Bavaria. Martin Haven and US slider Kendall Westenberg watching Israel's Jared Firestone getting us underway, the first of 30 sleds.
Yeah, Jared's got a pretty competitive push. I think he pushed somewhere in the top 15 last week, so that definitely helps, obviously, in sliding to get the momentum going.
4.78 start record is a 4:53. That is a competitive start. Now, it's not like Innsbruck here where the start is so much, but if you don't start, you have to fight hard somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, we saw in the women's race, the straight here really skiddy, a little less perhaps for the men.
Yeah, we'll see how the ice holds up. Run 1 and run 2 are definitely different ice textures for us a little bit ago.
Clatters the chicane, really a big hit. And that takes so much speed out where you need it most.
Yeah, 111 at the bottom. Like I said, this is a section where you kind of pay for having dropped speed earlier in the run.
Oh, and a huge skid in the final corner.
Not going to help either.
52.02. First season on World Cup for the 29-year-old from Hollywood in Florida. His second ever World Cup race. This is only the 4th different track he's slid on as well, so really pretty limited experience of tracks outside North America.
Yeah, you know, he did an okay job putting it together there. Tough with the skid and bend away to get your head back right for Kreisel.
Yeah, that's not comfortable either, is it?
No, it's not the fun way through.
I think it hurts as much as it looks like it hurts. Well, you've got to get the experience, and there's only one way to gain experience. There are no simulators. You can't rehearse this. The only way to get ice time is the hard way. All right, Nick.
And welcome to another episode of LivingYosh. Today on LivingYosh, I'm excited to welcome Jared Firestone, the Jewish Jet. I love that name, by the way. That is so cool.
I love the name Yosh, so
yeah. You're not supposed to compliment me. I'm just trying to compliment you so you come back. Jared is a 2026 Olympian who represents Israel in one of the wildest sports imaginable. Skeleton racing headfirst down on an icy track at incredible speeds. I still can't even imagine, man. Like, I didn't start going on roller coasters until I was like 23. My wife forced me to go on the Hulk. So, you're nuts. But his journey is about much more than sports. It's about overcoming setbacks, facing fear, Jewish pride, and what representing Israel meant to him after October 7th. Jared, I have a lot I want to talk to you about. But my first question, which I'm sure you get this a lot, are you crazy?
I don't think I'm crazy because I did feel fear almost every time I stepped to the line, obviously depending what track I was at. It's crazy. This part's crazy. It sounds crazy, but at the Olympics with over 20 million people watching just in America, I don't even have the worldwide numbers, but that was the least scared I ever felt in my very last run. But over time, yeah, obviously when you first start the sport, the butterflies are unreal, and then as you go, they get tempered a little bit. So, yeah, am I crazy? Sometimes.
Okay, but don't tell me. Let's go back a little bit. When you were a youngin, which I'm far from being, were you the quiet kid? Were you the little like Dennis the Menace type? Were you, the Bart Simpson type? Like, it's kind of share with me.
yeah, maybe a little Bart. I definitely got my fair share of write-ups. Probably around like 7 to 8 years old, I was peak troublemaker. So maybe I always did have a little thing for causing a little trouble, being a little outside the box. And I think I kind of settled down, like you said before. I could come off pretty chill, a little quiet sometimes, but always like internally, I was always looking to do something that I felt like would make my life feel satisfying.
But don't tell me as a kid, this is what you wanted to do when you grew up. Like, there's no way you thought about this at a young age.
No, I didn't know what skeleton really was. I had noticed it in the Olympics before, but didn't really even understand it or have it on my radar till I was 24 years old, actually, during the 2014 Olympics. when I was watching that. So I was already in law school when skeleton really got on my radar. Before that, I was a track athlete. The Olympics were on my radar.
No way.
Since 2005. Yeah, so I wanted to do it. I was a 100-meter sprinter. Now I'm back in Broward County. Was a Broward County 100-meter district champ. I think I haven't been following every year, but I think the only Jew to do that. So that was cool, and still proud of it. And then that eventually merged into skeleton.
By the way, I appreciate it that much more. I'm actually a marathon runner. I mean, I don't know if I don't get that title like how some people do that. I haven't run tons of marathons, a lot of half marathons. And I'm actually on my redemption tour for my first full marathon, the Miami in January, because we don't have to go into about me because it's about you. But when all this happened, I was in the best shape of my life before my story happened. Yeah. And I was training for my first full marathon. So now I'm training all over again. So
full circle moment, yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to train again, but it's like, one of those things that I don't need to tell you, we're just like, I have to do it. Like, it's like, you're determined.
Yep, no choice.
So tell me a little about your family growing up as far as Yiddishkeit and, where you grew up and, siblings, dogs, cats. Don't tell me.
Yeah, no cats.
Good windows and baseball bats.
Right. No, I come from a family, grew up in South Florida. I think everybody was allergic to cats. We did have a couple dogs. And yeah, I went to Jewish day school. I went to Hillel here, Sheikh Hillel in North Miami Beach. My sisters did the same. Eventually went to high school at Pinecrest, Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, cool.
Always had a strong connection to the Jewish community, to Israel especially. So I kind of carried that with me even into college at Tulane, and I went to law school at Cardozo. So very Jewish. Even when I left the Jewish school, eventually made my way back ultimately. And when I wasn't there, I was always surrounded by Jews.
I mean, that's a good life. It makes things easier. Like growing up when there's not a lot is I know firsthand it's very tough. You have a lot of decisions to make. You have the influences. So South Florida, we're so spoiled. It's so easy to be yourself here.
Yeah, I say that all the time. It's we're definitely in a bubble here, and it was something as in my travels going around the world and meeting other Jewish communities, it really made me stop taking it for granted.
Yeah, I hear you. I definitely do. So you went to law school, Tulane, and you already are ready to have a great career. You're going to something that obviously is important, and a lot of people use lawyers. Trust me, I went through a few recently.
Sure, you know a few, yeah.
I know. By the way, if you ever need a lawyer, I know every kind. I had them on speed dial on my phone. I don't know if that was a joke or not. I don't even know if that should be funny. And then skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Where and how did you even? I didn't even know what that was, to be honest. Like when I kind of look at it at first, I'm like bobsled.
Yeah,
that's kind of the picture I see, and I'm just like, wait a second, this is extreme. Not that bobsledding isn't. I mean, I love the Cool Runnings movie, but this is this is crazy, man. I didn't even think about this.
Yeah, I don't know how it was invented. There's different urban legends, but we think by two drunk Swiss guys who actually this part is true. Trying to get from a town called St. Moritz to a neighboring town called Celerina, and it's a track in Switzerland, which you can still slide today and do this, is hand carved every year. So it's the only natural track in the world. So that's how it came up. Sometimes I'd be standing there in a start house and looking around and being like, why the hell did somebody make this a reality that now I'm stuck in? And I'd look around at my colleagues, the other athletes, and be like, can we all just agree to go home? Like, we don't need to be doing this. But,
too. Like it's not a known sport, which makes it even more exciting.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun in the Olympics. These sports pop up and people get super into them and inspired. Curling, I'm not a fan, but that is for some people. But I think our sport, I think I definitely helped put it on the radar a bit in the Jewish community in Israel too, which was cool because for so many years I had to start by explaining, even just start with what's the sport. And as somebody who's self-fundraising, that was always a hard hole to dig out of just to start the conversation. Usually I could use Cool Runnings as a reference and go from there. But now people seem to know what skeleton is for the most part.
So tell me how you got started, man. You just woke up one day and you're just like, you saw it on the TV. You're just like, I need to do something crazy. I want to scare my parents and then do something that, like, they're like, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah, a little bit of all that. But yeah, so I was a track athlete, like I mentioned before. Wanted to go to the Olympics, represent Israel. That was a goal of mine since I learned about what happened in Munich.
Wait.
Yeah.
You had that as a goal? Like, that's a really, like, intense goal. Like, that's amazing. Like, what made you, like, think I want to go to the Olympics? Like, I know you did track, but, like, that's like, I'm not saying it's not a realistic goal, but that's like when someone says I'm going to the Olympics, you're just like, well, everyone wants to go to the Olympics, so good luck. Like,
right.
When did you start becoming serious? We're just like, I am going to find something to do for the Olympics no matter what.
Yeah, look, I'm not delusional. I would have never, if I thought I could only do it for Team USA, I know even after my, I was pretty good high school sprinter and everything, but I knew I wasn't going to be running a 900 meter at any point in my life. But I felt like I could do it for Israel, and that's what I wanted to do anyways because of what it would mean, learning about what happened in 1972 in Munich with the Israeli athletes that were taken hostage in the Olympic Village and murdered. And for me, that became my life mission. And it was like, yeah, I felt like at least I had the track's very objective, right? So I could see the times people were running at the time, and I knew I could possibly do it. Ended up running in college, had a lot of injuries. I peaked my freshman season and then kind of started to slow down a bit. And then I went to law school, kind of put that all aside, went to law school during my first semester, working really hard, really focused on 1L a year. And I had a mini stroke. This is what I'm told. Yeah, TIA. And it was really a wake-up call for me. I was like, I need to get back to pursuing that dream. You're only young once, right? So as soon as I was cleared, which took about 3-4 months, I got back into training for the Olympics and track again. Saw skeleton on TV. And really at first, I was just like, what is this? How do people get into it? I saw there was a tryout in upstate New York. I was in law school in New York City at the time. But there was a tryout where you could just work out and see if you make the cut to come learn how to slide. So I kind of went, I was like, this kind of fits my track training. I'll just go and I'll just see how it stacked up. I did well at that combine. They invited me to learn how to slide. So then the next year I took a week off of school. I was a third year now and went to what's called the sliding school in Lake Placid, New York. And that's where they teach you how to slide, slowly working your way from about halfway up the track.
Are there a lot of sliding schools in the country?
No, just there, Lake Placid and Park City, Utah. You could also go and try it certain times a year. But Lake Placid's like the official Team USA development one. Park City's more like anybody could go.
Okay, so you had a stroke, and I'm sorry that you went through that. But I guess in the end it was a blessing because it gave you determination, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, I had a stroke. I recovered, thank God. I'm going to do something really, in some people's minds, kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's no disrespect.
Look, if I could have been a Olympian in a summer sport, I probably would have chosen that path. Although in the end, I'm glad ended up being a winter because in the Israeli delegation there were 10 of us compared to 90 plus in the summer. So it was cool to have a little more.
I look up to you even more when I say this because I just think it's so cool. Like I like being different. And you'll realize that as you come and meet me a little bit more, because I think it's your goal, it's your accomplishment. It's not everyone else. Yeah, everyone appreciates what you're doing for Israel, but this is about you. It's when you can find something that you find that's your gift, which obviously it's a gift because you're really good at it. That's one less thing that you have to worry that you could always check off for your life goals. Like I found my gift. And that could take a lifetime for some people.
Yeah, and for me, it took 10 years. I was still getting better. My last day competing at the Olympics, still getting better. That's what I loved about the sport was, like you're kind of saying there, the feedback mechanism for how to improve is so – there's so many parallels to, like, skeleton in real life, and skeleton literally smacks you in the face when you make a mistake, right? And then you have to go back to the drawing board. And be like, all right, what can I fix about what I'm doing to make sure that result doesn't happen again? And I felt like it was like the perfect sport for me, where obviously it still had that natural skill I had, which was the running fast at the beginning. Yeah. But then I had to go against all my instincts. First of all, wanting to jump off the sled because I just honestly, it took really long. It took me about 8 years to get comfortable going that fast. And I was still pretty good while I was stiff and uncomfortable, but that's really when I broke through. Just all the strategy that goes into it, the fundraising I had to do as a small nation athlete. So yeah, that's kind of what hooked me to the sport. I just felt like it challenged me. It allowed me to use what I was best at, but also challenged me in things I wasn't so good at. And I kind of had to also make up for lost time starting the sport at the age of 26. So it was a great challenge.
Can we go through the process? So you go to New York, and do you have to be a certain weight? Is there like certain requirements, certain height? Don't pretend actually. I'll tell you for sure, I don't know anything about it. Besides, I'll say it once, I'll say it twice, I would never do it. Like I don't have the guts to do something like that. So tell me, you go to New York, and do you see a bunch of people? Is there a limit how many people can sign up per session, or?
Yeah. So first there was a workout. So we did squats, lifts, sprinting, jumps. I don't know. There were probably like 30 guys there. Big guys would go to bobsled, smaller or lighter guys would go to skeleton. So I was in the latter group. Then other people made the cut. There were different sliding schools, but when I went, there might have been, say, 20 of us total, men and women, and people just kind of drop out like flies. A, once they hit the ice the first time, and B, once they realize what the financial and time commitment is going to be. So that's the other.
It's a lot. So it is a lot. Do you have to do like a certain amount of runs to get it approved, or?
Honestly, the test in that first week is to just show that you have some idea of what you're doing, and also just to be able to honestly handle it. It's very self-selecting for the most part. And then almost everybody, if you're willing to go past that week, they'll at least take you on the first year Team USA development program, and eventually they'll make cuts if they see people just aren't picking it up and they don't want to spend more resources on them. But I spent 3 years in that program. I wasn't racing internationally. I knew I was going to slide for Israel one day, so the best move for me was just to learn as much as I could during that time. And when I felt like I was ready, when I could represent Israel the way I wanted to, then I made Aliyah and started competing for Israel.
So what was the most frustrating part as far as learning how to do skeleton? What was the one part where just like, I'm not saying this for sure happened, but just like, God, this is so hard to get good at. Was it the speed? Was it the mental state? Was it, people around you that you're competing against?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the guys with more experience were so much better. And it's such a slow process. Running bent over, pushing a sled is different than running upright. So there was frustration with guys I knew was more athletic than that could push the sled faster than me. Having bad equipment to start and needing to overcome it. I knew other new athletes had better, more responsive sleds. I had this brick basically that made it really hard to steer and created bad habits I had to undo years later. So that was a little frustrating. And then the main thing was the financial needs and not having everything I needed to feel like I was like a full-time peak athlete. And honestly, I never even got that till my 10th year. So those were all challenges, but I think they all made me better. If I was put in a program where they have a million coaches and they just tell you what to do and you hop on an amazing sled, I wouldn't have gotten as much out of the sport as I did ultimately.
So I don't know what the term is, but the first time you're on top of the hill, right? Is that what the term is?
Top of the track, yeah.
The track. Okay, sorry. You're looking down, and do you remember that first moment?
Yeah. You don't really know what to expect, so it's almost. I think the second run I was more nervous because I was like, "Holy, what just happened? I can't believe people do this." You're still only going. You're going from halfway, so you'll hit like 35 to 40 miles an hour. And honestly, when you're going slower, you kind of get beat up more. Nothing. The peak accident won't be as bad, but just in terms of getting scraped up and banging the walls, you're doing more of that because you don't have enough speed to carry you through the way the track's meant to go. So yeah, my arms just completely purple that whole week. I didn't have a proper helmet. It was like a skydiving helmet, a flat. My face was cut off at some point. So yeah, it was a lot, but you really, really I came all that way. And you really, really, really want to make it to the top by the end of the week to feel like you accomplished something. And it was almost a microcosm for the whole career. I put anytime I had a doubt or had a chance to take a shortcut, especially last year, I would think about it the same way. Like I put all this into it. I'm not going to let it come down to like one less push up or one less dollar or something. So yeah.
Was it like when a kid goes to a water park where you could just keep on going on that slide as much as you want, or do you need like to have like a lifeguard out there? Like you can't just do runs as much as you want, or is it?
It's that's actually a good question. So the impact it has on your central nervous system, you're pulling 5-6 G's of force when you go down from the top at least, and you can only go a couple, 2, maybe 3 times a day. You can't even keep your head up after that because your head's over the sled. So if you go more than that, you're just dragging your head. It's bad for your brain. So, and it's dangerous. You can't see as well because you can't keep your head up. So yeah, we would limit it. When you're going from the lower, they would send us maybe 5 times, 4, 3, and then like 2 from the top. When you're still learning, I would take 3 from the top. But at some point after you do like 500 runs, unless you're at a new track and you need to learn it quickly, you would just do those 2, preserve your future.
The track is the same everywhere, or I mean, besides the training one, but there's like or just like different routes. Like is like there's a turn, or is it always the same?
Always different. So there's 15 tracks around the world. Wow. Yeah, in Asia, North America, and Europe, and they're all different. You can apply similar concepts. I might be like, all right, curve 2 in Lillehammer is sort of like an inverse of curve 2 in Park City, or 7 has, there's a similar feeling as curve 12 somewhere else. So you're able, the more experience you have, the quicker you can piece those together, but they all go different ways. So when you go to a new track, you're learning it. You just start with the basics, left turns, right turns. Then you watch POVs and you start to get a better feel for the oscillations and the timing and how long you're in each curve. And then you can start manipulating like, all right, what do I want to get out of each curve? And from there, you figure out then what you're going to do to get that outcome all the way down the track. Yeah.
Do you do like a practice walkthrough before you do even the first time down? So you're familiar with the track, or?
Yeah, you could walk. They're called track walks, and before the first day of training, at any time I went, even if I just went back to a track I knew well, you look at the ice, and you could at least stand there and visualize and think about what you're going to do. But obviously, when you're walking down in an hour versus when you're sliding down in a minute, it's coming at you a lot faster. So you have to really, really train your brain to be used to that speed. Watch a lot of video so that by the time you step up to the track that first time, you have to trick your brain into thinking you've been there before. Otherwise, we don't have that many runs. You get 2 a day in the season, maybe 150 a year to learn. In a race week, you'll have 10 that week before the race. So that was something that for me, I think was a difference maker, is like making sure I did the work before I even got to the line the first time, so I could start learning right away instead of just like reacclimating or just like processing. Yeah.
So 3 years in New York, right? That's what you said.
In Lake Placid, yeah.
When you finished that, were you just like, I could do this? Or did it come earlier? Or did you have to finish all your training? Or just like, I'm really going to do this? Or did you feel confident earlier?
I didn't feel ready earlier because, like I mentioned, even my last race, when I did eventually pull the Band-Aid off, I wasn't that good yet. I think I came in 13th at USA National Championships in the end of that 3rd season. I wasn't racing internationally yet, but I was doing the internal races. And I just knew that once I did pull that Band-Aid off and start sliding for Israel, it would elevate my game. Just because when you're one of 25 guys in the U.S. program, you get lost in there. If it's not you, it's next guy up. But when I switched to Israel, I knew if I wasn't the one doing it, nobody would be doing it. And I also knew that everybody would be judging Israelis, Jewish people, by how I acted on the track and my performance, and off the track, the way I carry myself. So I stepped everything up, and the same guys that were beating me at that national championship in March of 2019, when I came back in November 2019, I just destroyed all of them.
No way.
Yeah, without sliding in between. It was just the work I did over the summer, changing the mindset, having like this pressure in a good way put on me to every day step my game up, so that by the time I got to the track on that first day, like I said before, I felt like I'd done I've been sliding all summer basically. So, and I just left them in the dust, and yeah, had a top 10 finish in a big international race right out of the gate, which was cool.
So let me ask you, and I'm sorry about the stupid questions. I want to learn more about this. So what's it called? So you need a helmet, you need like a suit, right? What else is included? What else do you need to actually go down the hill?
To go down, we need the sled.
The sled, yeah.
So that includes the runners on your feet. And then the spikes that let you run on the ice. They look like track spikes, but they have little pins on the bottom, like 200 pins. And that lets you have that traction. That's all you really need. In training, you probably should wear pads, but in a race, you don't wear them anyways. So, and by pads, I mean
the weight, or is it you want to be? Why would you not have as much protection as possible?
If I'm wearing a pad, so say I'm gonna face down a little, and this is the first thing the wind's hitting, but say I have a pad here that's sticking out, it's just creating an aerodynamic disadvantage. So, so you want to be as aerodynamic as possible. So no pads, and honestly, in the races, you don't really feel the hits anyways.
So, are there a lot of places that make these sleds, or is there's one manufacturer and
just kind of, so the big nations will have their own IP, their own technology from their own research and development. So the average slider is going to get it on their own, and some other countries too. There's two main manufacturers. So yeah, I just chose one at the beginning when I first started sliding for Israel and had to get my own, and I just stuck with it for all 7 years from there. So a lot of modifications, but the same basic sled, the same.
Okay, now I want to ask you, because you look pretty built. I'm just saying. I mean, I look like nothing, so maybe I'm just comparing. What kind of toll does it take on your body when you're training for the Olympics? I mean, you can't be in bad shape, obviously.
Yeah. So we train as sprinters, basically in skeleton, but you also have this added wear and tear of actually sliding. It takes a lot on your body. So you have to balance that in the season. You got to let up on some of that training to allow your body to be able to recover and function on the track. So yeah, last summer, I was an older athlete, 35, but I did everything I could to make sure my recovery, vitamins, supplements, everything was top notch, my sleep. And I ended up, I wouldn't say it was the fastest I've ever been sprinting, but it was the strongest I've ever been by far, which could be even more important when you're just pushing a sled for 30 meters. So, it just took a lot more effort as I got older, but the training was hard. I trained down here in South Florida.
Oh man,
for an athlete on the older side. So
I mean, I'm a senior for an athlete. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the truth, though, unfortunately. But so, look, you could deny it, but you have to also be aware of it, so you could taper your training accordingly. And also, once I've been doing this stuff for 20 years, I didn't need as much volume, and I didn't need to destroy my body every time I went to the gym.
Is this for everybody? Can anyone learn to be an Olympic athlete?
No. Well, you still need to you need that athletic base to push the sled fast. So that's the first thing. And then it's just so much of it's a mindset thing. So it could be somebody who wasn't even an athlete before, but it's really more than anything, more than athleticism. The whole thing was a test of resilience and strategy.
So how did you, I mean, you were an athlete, obviously, and you're a little bit ahead of the game already, but how did you go through the mental state of, all the preparation, the pressure, because I'm sure eventually, now you want to reach this goal, you put a little bit of pressure on yourself to succeed.
A lot of pressure on myself, just at the right times when it could be useful. Once I got to the race, there was no pressure on me because I did everything I could have to be prepared for that moment, and I made sure that even on April 1st when I'd start training, I was thinking about October 15th, the first day I'd be on ice, and I would make sure I did everything I could from that moment to make sure that when I got to the start line for the first time, there was nothing that could cause a doubt in my mind that I wasn't ready for that. And it showed. The first run of Olympic season, training run in Norway, my coach was like, "You look just as good as you did in World Champs on the last day of sliding the year before," right? And it was just because I literally I already done the season. April 1st was October 1st. And April 15th, I was watching film. I was in Norway. I was in my apartment in Fort Lauderdale, but I was in Norway. And I was taking the time out of the day to simulate that. Like, I didn't go through every single thing. I don't have, the 3 hours I'm going to be at the track, but I would simulate the time before, the routines, even getting dressed up in my winter clothes and taking the things off and testing different routines that made me feel good. And then I'd just watch film and I'd close my eyes and do visualizations and I'd lie in my sled and just get used to being on it and being calm. And in the gym, I made sure that there was nothing I could do, or like no shortcut I could take, I should say, that if I missed the Olympics, I could look back on. So I wanted to make sure like I wasn't attached to a result, but all I knew was something in my control was to whether I made the Olympics or not, I wouldn't have any regret. So doing all of that, I think put me over the top because there were 10 guys who were very, very similar skill experience level. We were all competing for those last 2 spots that were pretty much left for small nations. After all the big nations were spoken for with their spots. And I think for me, that was a differentiating factor. It was having that urgency, that desperation, needing it at the right times, but then getting to the season and not needing it at all.
So what's the process to represent a country? You just sign up and there's tryouts? Or?
They all have different systems depending on the size. When I first started sliding for Israel, there was nobody else doing it.
Literally no one. Like they had a team though, right?
we had an Olympian in 2018. And then there was nobody. You know what? Okay, fine. There was one guy sliding, so I didn't forget about him. But now it seems like forever ago.
That's how much better you were than him that you kind of forgot. It's okay. It's fine, man.
He never beat me. He never beat me in a run. So that was that.
You have to say, damn, it's okay. You can have a little bit of ego.
Right. I did almost forget he was on the team with me, but. I had some results from sliding with USA before sometimes they weren't international races, but in domestic races. So they knew where I was at. So it was just kind of walk on. Most small countries take anybody just to keep the programs going and to have people. IBSF is like the governing body. It's like the NFL for football is IBSF for sliding. And they'll give funding based on how many athletes you have. So most countries will just take athletes unless they're actually putting money into the athletes, then they'll be pickier. But Israel wasn't putting money into the athletes, so whoever could come, go to 10 races, and we get our couple $1,000s off you. So that's kind of how most small nations operate.
Officially make the Israel team, right? And
2019, yeah.
There's that one other guy.
Yeah,
no one's right. And so how did you feel? I mean, that's huge, man. Like whether there's one other guy, 10, it doesn't matter. That's huge. Like. Did you feel like I made it, or was there I still have more to accomplish? Or was everything else like I made it? Everything else is a bonus.
Yeah, putting myself back in there for a second, but it was definitely a surreal moment. Like I had a white helmet before, and then I painted a big Magen David on the top.
So cool.
And I remember standing you don't really process it until you do it, until you see that. The Israel flag next to your name in the results. But I remember the first time walking to the start line and all the people are lined up on the start ramp, and it's like, all right, they know I'm the guy representing Israel right now, and all these people know it. And that's sort of the moment where it's like, all right, cool. Like, this is my identity now. This is something I've been looking to do. It's the first big check.
That's yours,
I guess, starting the sport. But then, yeah, exactly. I competed for Team Israel, right? So yeah, that was check one, and then it was like, all right, now let's go beat some people. So yeah,
I want to ask you because this is important to me and probably important to a lot of people. Was there one person that was especially proud of you? Or just like I'm so happy I made this person proud? Was there someone you looked up to and just like they would literally say to you like we're so proud of you. This means so much to me or us.
Yeah, I mean, I could give a few examples. So probably maybe the coolest thing was at the end, like being able to bring my parents, my sisters, and my brother-in-laws into the Olympic Village and give them that experience. And it's something literally, it didn't cost me anything to bring them in at that moment. but I knew I was able to give them an experience that almost nobody else could get. Money can't buy it. And that was super, super gratifying. My teammate, AJ Edelman, who did skeleton before me, ended up being our bobsled pilot at this Olympics too, was always like, I was destroying all his records for Team Israel, and he couldn't have been happier about it. And I always wanted to do better for him. He invested so much time, free time, into helping me grow and learn the sport when I was starting out and had no coach. So that was another person. And then people I didn't even know till after started. The day after my race, I went to Milan, and there were like 70 Milanese Jews waiting to meet me and telling me how much it meant for them, how much nachas it gave them, to see somebody in Italy at this time like so willing to be outwardly Jewish, and so that was, and then there were thousands after that of people telling me that, and I never even was able to conceive of that potential impact. So yeah, a lot of people, but as far as the people started from the beginning, obviously my family and then my teammate. Yeah.
So I actually the other day I had this kid. Well, he's a kid compared to me. Named Sam, and he plays. He just finished his eligibility. He Division I Orthodox Jew for college football.
Yeah,
which is so cool. And my buddy, his nephew, is playing Division I college basketball. And these are things a lot of Jews don't do and can't, and you don't hear about it. So, and then I asked Sam, and I told him, you don't have to share it with me, but I was curious. Was there anyone that called you specifically to congratulate you, where you're just like, wow, I can't believe I'm talking to this person? Not that you got celebrity high or you got, you get overly excited, but was there anyone, and it can even be someone maybe from your past, it doesn't even have to be someone with a big name. Was there anyone who called you just wow, this means so much to me? But you can't say.
Yeah, no. There's a couple I can't really say, but
But there was people.
Yeah. There were people I can't believe it reached this person. Even just on Instagram, you could say people, I've been tracking them for a long time, and then for them to notice or send me a message. So yeah, there were a couple people who were also at the Olympics who sent me those messages and told me how much it meant to their family, and I'm like, wow, I've been listening, a sports analyst, right? I've been watching you or reading your articles for years. So there's an example from the Miami Herald, Michelle Kaufman, who I grew up reading her articles in the sports paper in the 90s. She interviewed me for a piece in the Miami Herald. And so that's a moment that was really, really cool.
So, man.
Yeah. And then there were some
people for a whole different reason.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
That's all another story. So that was cool. It was a good reason to be in the paper. And then there were two people in the Israeli government who were able to help me. I had some issues with a passport at the end, and so that was cool for them to see the importance of what I was doing and vouch for me.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you'll tell me another time when we're having the Chaims who was. I'm just kidding. So no, I was just thinking about us having drinks, so I kind of lost my train of thought. So okay, I got it. So October 7th happens. We're all in a state of shock. How did that affect you as far as, were you on more of a mission to represent in a way that you never thought you would think before October 7th happened? Were there times where just I don't even know if I could do this? What was your mindset? Obviously, we all were sad. We got united. But you personally, how did it change you?
Yeah, so it added urgency to what I was doing. I was battling some injuries. My season before ended with a bicep tear. Then I had bone bruises in my knees over the summer. And I wasn't sure if I was going to continue sliding. I didn't have to raise any money up to that point. I was kind of thinking maybe we'll go out and slide second half of the year just to get some runs in. And then, so now it's October, and then it's October 8th now. And I need to put this sadness, this energy into something productive, something that only I could do. And I know it's not, it's not as important as going and fighting in a war, donating supplies, but it is one thing that it's what I uniquely can do, and it's a small part of the world. But if I go out there and be an ambassador,
I apologize.
yeah,
I want you to know it's just as important the fact that you're giving people hope. And I truly believe that everyone has a different way to contribute, especially through tough times. And you kind of had to keep doing this the strongest way possible because I spoke to some comedians, and after October 7th, they're like, I had to put on the show. People needed laughter. People needed you, by the way. No pressure right now, but people needed you, and they need you now also to represent you. Like I said, you're actually a hero. What you're doing, and
I didn't know it at the time.
Really
Thank you, but I didn't know it at the time, but I did learn it during that season, and seeing people's reactions, like, oh, good, Israel's here, Israel's being represented
for sure, and
it makes them feel like they could do the same, right? And then it has a huge aggregate effect if everybody's taking the lead from somebody else they see. So yeah, even though I didn't notice at the time, then it dawned on me, and my focus really was to just go out and advocate that season, getting better at skeleton. The Olympics were secondary. But after enough time passed, I was like, okay, like we're going to take this to the next level, and the Olympics is the way to reach the most people. So
did you receive, you don't have to get into detail, did you receive any hate? And it was any anti-Semitism, throughout your process of,
nothing I paid attention to.
That's good, but it was there, unfortunately.
I mean, online stuff, who cares? In person, no, nobody ever said anything to me. If anything, it was the opposite. Just so many people come up to me and even want to just non-Jewish people come and take pictures with me. I remember my first race in Lake Placid after it's now November 2023, and the students, none of them are Jewish, but they all had Israeli flags too, along with the American flags. They were cheering everybody, but they also, like the teacher, somebody made an effort to make sure I felt recognized in that way, and so there's so many of those moments, which was awesome to see.
But also, it is one of the cooler flags out there, so
yeah, it's epic.
I mean,
it's unique.
It may be a little biased.
It's not black, red, and green like so many.
Yeah, I don't know which one you're talking about.
A lot.
So you've been doing this for a long time. You've been training your butt off. You went through mental toughness with October 7th. You went through injuries. When did you take a minute to be like, I did it? Like, when did you just like, I'm not saying you broke down, but you're just like, oh my God, like, I'm going to breathe and look back. Like, I can't believe what I just accomplished.
Yeah. The biggest surreal moment was when I got home from opening ceremonies and being able to carry the flag. And I talked about this, and my coach was reminding me this before, because you're waiting for like an hour, all the countries, or it's a whole procession. And he's like, I know it's always felt like, there's 100 people watching and that's all there was. But like, I'm telling you right now, even though it just feels like these people here, millions of people are going to see this and see how you carry the flag, and make sure. I know you tend to be a little introverted and shy, but like, just let it, whatever you're feeling, like let it out here. And I was able to do that. And, I'm on TV for 10 seconds, but then there's another mile to go, and I'm keeping that same energy, and it's freezing cold out. My phone, I can't even get to it, but I feel buzz. And it just died, like without me ever taking it out. And then when I got home and like back to the village and it's quiet again, and put my phone in and just had a moment to like reflect. And then when the phone came back on, I saw the messages. I was like, wow, that's crazy what I just did. Like, yeah, even when I qualified for the Olympics, there was still so much to do. I had to get my passport. I had to go home, set up a little party. That was cool. Go to Israel. There was like a million things to do when I got there. And then I got to Italy, and there was so much to do. It never really sunk in. And that was the first moment where I just wow, you just actually did something great. So,
gosh, man, cool. Like you really did something that people would only dream of. Like, you have that with you forever. It's so cool. So I want to ask you this, because I'm in awe, and I think it's really cool. But I'm sure there's kids that come up to you, and they either say to you, I want to be this when I grow up, or I want to do this. What kind of advice do you give people who might be trying to live the same dream as you?
Well, don't do skeleton.
That's mine.
Yeah,
I have that.
Right. It's there's healthier sports to do, but whatever it is, it doesn't even need to be sports. I felt like the main takeaway was just having a mission bigger than yourself, and don't be too focused on one specific goal. Have a mission that could last a lifetime. If my mission was just to make the Olympics, if I made it or not, the next day I would have been like, what's next? And so many athletes make the games or don't make the games and they get depressed. And that never happened for me because the games was only a stepping stone to where I want to go. So that's the main advice I give is to think about what type of legacy you want to live, what you want your future life to look like, and then now let's work backwards and figure out what you need to accomplish and what you need to do weekly, daily, what those non-negotiables are, how you need to identify what characteristics you need to embody. And if you do all of that stuff, then you'll definitely accomplish that big mission.
I love that. That's an amazing message, my man. It really is. I want to ask you one more question. For someone who is representing Israel now, which you do, like you're a piece of Israel, which all of us are in a different way, but you're in a way where you're recognizable. What's your message to people to continue being strong as a nation? I know that's a very strong, out there question, but what do you advise people? So, because you had to be part of a team, you had to learn how to work around other people, and sometimes it's difficult. So, what kind of advice would you give to our people? So stay strong.
So I think like I mentioned before, there were 10 athletes from small nations who were all competing for that final 2 Olympic spots, and I was one of the 2 that made it. And what I realized from that was a lot of them had more actual resources than me, provided by their governments or by their federations. But I always had an X factor, and that was being a part of something much bigger than me. So I would say they might have federations, but I have an entire nation, and I was able to pull from that. Anytime I felt doubts, anytime I had an opportunity to take a shortcut, I'm in Germany somewhere training by myself. It's 5 degrees out. I could easily just step off the line. Nobody's making me do that run. And in those moments, I would just think about how I'm part of something way bigger than myself. And it's such a blessing and such a way for us to achieve way more than we would have if we were actually just completely on our own. So I think the lesson or the takeaway is to continue to stay true to those roots and take advantage of the amazing opportunity and community we're a part of.
Man, your mother-in-law's dream come true. Like, seriously, I can advertise you. That's not my business, but geez, like your answers are just like exactly what you want to hear. Like,
Thanks,
maybe you have a little bit of practice, but I feel like it comes a little bit natural.
I thought about it a lot. Of these things a lot. I got asked the questions and I've thought it through. I'm actually working now on a course that kind of takes like all my stories, all the lessons, and puts them into like your question 2 questions ago, how to basically pick something and achieve it and put yourself in the best position to do that.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Is there any question that someone has never asked you or just like, why have they not asked me that?
I feel like that just happened. Well, nobody's asked me that. Nobody's asked me questions, so it's very meta. But it did happen recently. I can't remember what it was at the moment, but I remember now.
Like, just ask me already.
I know, right? I was like, wow, I can't believe nobody's asked me that. But no, I got in all the questions, memorable ones. Are you single? Those questions that you don't expect, but
if you want to extend this for another hour, we could go into that.
That'll be a part 2 if there's a demand.
He already committed to part 2. Right after the movie comes out, the documentary, unless there already is one.
We'll do it. There's one in the works. So
nice. Well, I mean, there should be.
Thank you. Yeah, there's one in the works. I was careful over the last 10 years to document as much as possible, just keeping in mind that was a possibility, and luckily I have some amazing.
And now you got something really cool to add to it. My interview.
Exactly. This is the cap right here.
Maybe I'll be the voice, like Morgan Freeman of your.
Right. You'll narrate the whole story.
That'd be awesome, man.
We'll see what we can do. I'll talk to you.
We started a few weeks back and put a song together, and I'm like, your next like funny song, you got to have a scene where you're on a podcast.
Right.
I mean, it's my show. I can pitch myself.
Yeah, throw it out there. See what sticks.
You never know. Speaking of speed, I like to have a speed round.
Okay.
I ask you some fun questions. I think they're fun. Because unlike the questions I put together with a little bit of grammar correction, because I'm not the best with my grammar, but the speed round is kind of just thrown in there. So I apologize in advance if it's not your speed. That's a joke. A bad one. Okay. I am a dad of 3, so I have bad jokes officially now. Yeah, once you become a dad, it's like you think it's never going to happen. Where like your kids are just like, "That was a dad joke," and I'm like, "Crap." Dang, man. Okay, let's start with this. All Israel or Florida?
In what Israel? What context though? To live or?
I'm asking the question, man. You just answer it any way you want.
All right, Israel, Florida, close runner-up.
Okay, there you go. Beach or snow?
Ice. Beach. Honestly, I never liked the ice or the cold. I just had to do
Me either, man. I lived in Chicago and it was depressing, man. I hate getting all bundled up and like it
takes forever to get out of the house.
Seriously, man. It's like, especially like having kids. Like I can't imagine being in the cold. My kid would take like 5 hours just to leave for school. And we live 5 minutes away. But that's a side note. Track shoes or skeleton sled?
Track shoes. It's much lighter.
All right. Lawyer or Olympian, which
Olympian.
Yeah. Favorite place in Israel?
The Kotel.
I love that. Oh, I knew you were going to say that, man. You know what? I'm done, man.
Can't get me.
Favorite Jewish food? And I'm just going to give you a little tip. Living in Florida, you might have to say shawarma because there's one every block, but you don't have to.
I had that earlier today, shawarma. So that's
you want to say where you don't have to say where you went because people might get upset.
No. If we can work out a little.
Not like to advertise.
Free agent right now. All the local shawarma Israeli restaurants in Hollywood. If you want,
I do want to say though,
shawarma of our local Hollywood Olympian. You won't find me in any other of the shawarma places, but I'll need that discount code. So.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta go then. Wow. Okay. And I hope they get their food in a very speedy manner.
Exactly.
There we go. But I will tell you, there's a falafel place, and I don't even eat falafel. My son, my 12-year-old, definitely doesn't, and he will eat this falafel. It's so good. Like I don't even know how to explain it. It's the best falafel I've ever had.
Send me offline. We don't.
Yeah.
In case my future sponsors listen.
Yeah. Okay. Fastest you've ever gone on a sled?
140 kilometers per hour, so 85.6, I think, miles.
Holy crap, man! That's nuts.
We're moving. Yeah, that's in Vancouver and Whistler, fastest track in the world.
How do you get what do you do that gets you so excited now? Because it's like athletes, and I'm not saying you don't sled anymore, but like a lot of athletes that retire from sports, they have it in them, so they need something to give them excitement. Do you like go skydiving like every other day? I mean,
yeah, not too much of an adrenaline junkie. I mean, I like go-kart racing, just to get that like competitive and a little bit of excitement out. But I'm still kind of looking for the next danger that will fill that void. But so far, I mean, honestly, I've done over 40 speaking engagements since the Olympics, and public speaking wasn't something that was natural to me, and that it does fill that like performance need I guess I have.
So but as far as that's awesome. That's
and it's a much healthier way to do it, and sometimes you get paid. So it's better overall. As far as a danger void, though, I'm still looking.
I'll tell you, my show would love to have you, by the way, to speak.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'll talk to the rabbi. 100%. We like cool stories. Like it's a cool crowd. That's I'm just they like to also feel like they're part of a cool thing. So it makes us feel cool when we're really old. What's scarier for you? Is it actually doing skeleton or someone who's close with you thinking about them watching you do the skeleton?
um, yeah, I think doing it actually, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who's gonna have to feel those hits. So doing it's scarier. Then I don't feel too bad for the people watching.
Who is one athlete you looked up to growing up?
Growing up, I really liked watching Dwayne Wade back in the day as a Heat fan. Um, yeah, definitely like a sort of a toughness going back to before his Heat days, overcoming adversity, and he had the marketing campaign, fall down 7, stand up 8, and I felt like that was also a little story of my skeleton career.
Definitely have a story, my man. I only got a few more, but this one's probably the best one. More nervous before an Olympic run or your first date?
My first date ever?
Never. You just answer it the way you want.
Honestly, I wasn't.
You're like in second grade, then maybe we should just go a little bit higher up. It's like a little bit older.
Yeah. So probably, let's say in high school or probably first date. I wasn't very nervous at the Olympics, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't. It's crazy, man. Like
I was just, I knew I did everything I had to. Like I fulfilled that mission when I carried the flag, and I was just going out and sliding, nothing to lose. I wasn't there to win a gold medal. Like there was no pressure on me from anybody. I just, had to go and do my best. So it was just fun. Like it was an awesome opportunity to show off the years of hard work I put into millions of people. So yeah, it was just kind of fun just to see what would happen and to get some really cool footage of me racing at the Olympics.
Fine, I got 2 more questions. I lied.
Yeah, let's go.
I apologize. We just met and I'm already lying to you. How often do you get the itch to go sled? We just want I just want to get on that track and do it again.
I haven't really felt it at all. The Olympics, it was hard. It was so much fun. And the track was also like on the more forgiving side. And I had to during my career, I had to make notes, try to remember how hard a lot of this was, because there will be a time when you're tempted after, when you kind of glorify it and you think about going back. And I just knew I know I need to move on. So I haven't really felt the itch. Maybe when winter rolls around, I'll, want to get out there a little bit. But if anything, I'll just go coach for a week or so, help some athletes out and just see if at least the knowledge can transfer without putting my body in harm's way.
It's great. I mean, so now it's the last question. Okay. I mean, I could probably ask 100 more, but I'm not going to, because I want to save that for round 2.
Right. Save it for when I come to your show.
Yes. Oh man. Oh, okay. Now don't test me, my man.
We can do a live,
I've been asked to do a lot of live ones, but maybe you'll be the first.
All right.
I would love to do that, because I'm not shy and I don't mind being around people. So you never know.
Right.
If that's what we have to do, then we'll do it. It's all good. Okay. Maybe when you come speak to this show, we'll make it like a podcast, and
I'll do the spiel, and then we'll turn it into a little live conversation at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Record it.
That sounds great. Cool. You must like me. Unless you're thinking about doing it with somebody else, which then whatever.
No, you're my guy.
Ah. I want you to describe yourself and think about this for a second. And it says 3 words, but if you need more, just when someone says, Jared Firestone is.
Yeah. I think resilient is the first one. I think if I had to sum up my whole story in one word, it's a story of resiliency. Somebody who, I don't know what this is in one word, but does what they say they're going to do, keeps promises. And not that anybody expected me, it was out of my control whether I qualified for the games, but at least did everything I needed to do that. So that's number 2. I guess somebody who gets it done. And number 3 is the Jewish jet. That's it. just embody that. The Jewish jet, Maccabee mindset. Yeah, a proud, strong Jew. So that's 3 words there. Another 3.
You know, you have to get like little toy versions of you to give out that says Jewish jet on, unless you have it already.
I have. Well, here I actually have this. I was going to show you at the end.
Oh, no way!
It's my little Olympic pin. So that's what
You
I got.
gotta hook me up, unless that's your last one.
No, I have a few. I could always get more, but yeah.
Well,
Got you.
I want to say I'm honored that you're on my show, because I look up to especially heroes, because especially at the time we're living in now, we need people like you who not only accomplish something, but you're willing to go out there and help other people by sharing your story, what you went through, how you have to be committed, your fight for Israel, your commitment to Israel, commitment to yourself. Like, that's what makes it all worth it. That's what makes it special. So
Yep.
a lot of people do things, and it's great, but everything you do now is a bonus. You're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for other people. So that makes me so honored once again to have you. You're a hero in my mind, you're a hero in other people's minds, and please just keep on doing what you're doing, because it keeps us going. Especially, I'm a fan. I really am. I'm a fan of everything you're doing, and being on LivingYosh it brings a whole new meaning to my show.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And yeah, your story is inspiring as well. And maybe there'll be a part 3 where I interview you.
Yeah, wow. Well, sometimes when I have guests, they do start interviewing me. Whatever. It wouldn't be the first time. But really, thank you. Thank you. It means a lot, because I know you help other people. Me personally, after everything I've been through, it gives me a lot of strength that you were willing to come on here and hear my voice and let me get to know you. It does a lot of good for me. So, if anything, thank you.
I appreciate it. It's an honor. And yeah, I'll see you soon at the show.
I'll see you at Shul. I'll see you round 2, round 3.
All right.
Maybe we'll do something crazy together.
Yeah, maybe we'll go sliding. Maybe we'll get a bobsled. I'll drive.
I thought go-karts, but whatever.
All right. Yeah, 5. We'll start with that.
Thank you again, my man, and I'll hit you up soon.
Sounds good.